Yeah.
Hi, my name is Joel Kroger. I'm an intern here at Crossroads Youth, and I've been coming to Crossroads for pretty much my entire life.
What are your biggest takeaways from your time in college, specifically related to your faith journey?
One of my biggest takeaways in regards to faith, there's no correct way to do it, right? There's no exact formula to faith. It's very personal. It's a very intimate relationship with you and the Lord. So what works for somebody else might not necessarily work for you.
Which instructors, mentors, pastors have had the biggest impact in your life, and how?
Ooh. Two people immediately come to mind. First one is Pastor David here at Crossroads. Huge impact because for me personally, I'm trying to go into youth ministry. That's kind of what I studied in college. So having a youth pastor here that saw me in that and took interest and invested in me was really huge. Just the way he brought me in as an intern here for the youth group and just allowing me to participate and help out and just experience these new things that I'd never done before. And then also encouraging me in my faith as well. Like I knew without a doubt that I could come to Pastor David with anything because he does a really good job in creating a safe space, not just for the students, but for me as well, for leaders, because he's just very, very relational. He does a great job at that.
What are your biggest takeaways from your time in high school, specifically related to your faith journey?
I would probably have to say treating everyone with kindness and like treating everyone like equally and not assuming things about people, because especially going into the real world, like you never know what everyone's dealing with in their personal lives, and just showing them kindness can be the thing that, especially with the high suicide rates now and everything, keeping them alive. Seriously. So just really making sure to check up on your friends, making sure their mental health is doing okay and everything. And I've just felt like that's been encouraged a lot here through youth group too, which has further driven me to continue to seek and aid people in their mental health journey and showing them kindness.
Which teachers, mentors, or pastors have had the biggest impact on your life, and how?
So I haven't been with this church for very long, but church specifically, I would definitely say Pastor David and Pastor Hannah. They showed me kindness as soon as I don't know why I'm crying. So Pastor Hannah and Pastor David showed me a lot of kindness coming in here, and I really appreciated it because I've never had like a past history of being religious or anything. My family was never religious. So also being introduced to the church by Noah really helped and everything. And just coming in here and being shown love immediately really was nice.
What are your biggest takeaways from your time in college, specifically related to your faith journey?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of things that had a big impact on the things that I took away from college. I think the most important things for me were like, one, making connections with people, not only people that would be critical to my career, but also critical to my faith and my growth. I think the other thing that I learned is taking time out and really establishing a good routine with God and being able to make that work, as well as honestly spending time outside was a huge thing. And it was kind of weird how it shaped into my faith journey, but spending time outside in God's nature and the uniqueness of the things that He's created and being able to appreciate that and incorporate that. But also you just get cooped up into college, so it's good to take your space.
Yeah. Which instructors, mentors, or pastors have had the biggest impact on your life? How?
There's a lot of them. I would say obviously our pastors in this church, so David, Hannah, Tara, Brett, Brent, all of the pastors we have played a role in one aspect or another. Specifically Brent in my leadership skills and honing that in with Sierra Sports has been a big impact, but also my drum instructor over at Grand Canyon, he made a huge impact in my life, and the way that he was able to not only encourage me through my music abilities, but also to just build me up as a person.
How has faith shaped your understanding of your calling and purpose in life?
Yeah, that one's huge, especially for me, you know, going into a ministry degree. There's a lot that you come into question with, whether it's, am I called into full-time ministry? Am I called to part-time ministry? And what does that look like? I think faith plays a huge role in all of that, of course. But my faith specifically, just learning how to trust God through the uncertainty and lean into that. While I don't know exactly what ministry looks like throughout my whole course of life, just accepting where God has me in that moment and leaning into whatever open doors He provides through that. So.
What are your biggest takeaways from your time in high school, specifically related to your faith journey?
It's okay to go slow. I'll say that. I mean, there is such a thing as being too slow, which I'm also very familiar with because I'm a big time procrastinator. When I kind of slow down and I take the time to build a relationship and pray and stuff, I'm not very good at it yet, but when I do take the time is when I feel the best.
Which teachers, mentors, or pastors have had the biggest impact in your life, and how?
This one's actually, I mean, there's a lot to choose from, but I'd say the front runners are my dad and Pastor David Park. He's the GOAT.
The GOAT?
Pastor Hannah's pretty good too, but me and David are the dudes. So, but yeah, David's like, he's really, he likes big words, which is something that I resonate with because I like big words.
Like Djibouti?
Like Djibouti. My way of talking has been encouraged by leaders in my life, like my dad. Like, we have conversations about deep topics all the time, along with David, or honestly even Tom. That's the way they've impacted me, is encouraging me to use my words and have emotional, intellectual discussion rather than just like talking about the weather or something.
What are your biggest takeaways from your time in high school, specifically related to your faith journey?
Don't judge what other people's lives look like, because you're not living their life and their progress is different from yours. They might be way ahead of you in schooling or in seemingly the public, perception of things, but maybe they're really not, and there could be something else happening. Or, in their spiritual life, they seem on top, but maybe they're not.
Which teachers, mentors, or pastors have had the biggest impact on your life? How?
I mean, my parents, obviously, biggest impact on anybody's lives. I go to a Bible study in Casa Grande, and the leader of the Bible study, we just call him Mr. A. He's definitely helped me a lot. Also David, just seeing how understanding he is, and he can just sit down and just talk with you and understand what you're going through and give really good advice. That's so cool.
How do you see your future career or life path aligning?
I think sort of the same thing again, servant leadership kind of. We're just serving and helping down the path of hopefully the Air Force. Hopefully I can go to the Air Force. That'd be super cool. Even if I don't go that and that, then serving literally wherever I'm taken, wherever the Holy Spirit guides.
What are your biggest takeaways from your time in college, specifically related to your faith journey?
Going into college, I didn't understand the meaning of what it meant to be in a relationship with the Lord. And I think I learned that in college. And it also made me see that the Lord sets up the plans from the very beginning, and you just have to see it unfold to look at the bigger picture.
Which instructors, mentors, or pastors have had the biggest impact in your life?
I would say Eddie Reyes. Yeah, I look at one. Yeah.
That's my dad.
Tom Harvey, definitely Hannah and David, and my director from my work, Chris Rocker. I know whenever I went down a bump on the road, I knew I could call Hannah or David. And then Chris, just he's really helped me build confidence through my work. And yeah, so it's been really nice to know that I can rely on them in any time. And I know even in the future I'll be able to as well.
How do you see your future career or life path aligning with God's plan for you?
Like working for Young Life and being a leader here in Chandler, I have learned that the Lord has used my testimony to be an advocate and a voice for those that grew up like me, like low income, single mother, like, and a lot of like the students that I like disciple and I evangelize and minister to, like they all come from that same background. And I think it took me a while to understand like what my story was going to be useful for, and even appreciate what my story was. But now, like, I tell God, I'm like, okay, I understand why that had to happen, because like it has made me want to pursue like what I'm doing and like be super understanding and grateful of like what I'm doing now.
What are your biggest takeaways from your time in high school, specifically related to your faith journey?
I would say, so I struggled a lot my first few years of high school with my faith, just like with doubting and like just like not really finding a reason or a purpose in it. And also like part of that was just I wasn't really looking for a reason. And I feel like these past few years, what's helped me the most is just constantly giving myself a reason and like a why.
How has your faith shaped your understanding of your calling and purpose in life?
Like I want to be more selfless. So I think that my faith has really helped me like look outside of myself and realize that it's not about me. And just like giving myself a purpose to like be there for other people.
Which teachers, mentors, or pastors have had the biggest impact in your life, and how?
Well, my parents for one, because they're pastors. And then Hannah and David. They've known me since I was like 9 years old. And they've just always provided a safe space for me. And so like with any questions that I've had or any like struggles, they've just always been there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there like a specific time or
really just like through all of it. Like their home has just always been a place like where I can just go to, and like if I wanted to get away for a little bit, I can just go to their house. And, yeah.
What are you most looking forward to as you move into the next phase of your life?
Just like trying new things, meeting new people, and like experiencing like what the world has to offer. Like not like the world, but like, you know, going and seeing new places and like traveling.